If you can't submit to your husband, ask yourself if you got married for a wedding and for an aesthetic and so that your shame could be removed and so that you don't look like nobody wants you, or if you actually wanted to be married to someone, if you actually wanted to become one with that man, if you actually wanted to come under his leadership and headship. This is like so profound, but we skip right over it. And I think one of the reasons that we have such combative natures in our marriage as women, and I'm saying we because I've been there, girl. We like to be argumentative. We don't want to be submitted. We don't want to be obedient. This man can't tell me nothing. But it's like, well, if you felt that way about him and if you had no intention of coming under his headship and being protected by him and being led and guided by him, not controlled necessarily, but there is an aspect of control that goes into it, because if a man cannot control his home, he cannot protect it. If he cannot control his woman, he cannot protect her. Going back to the example that I gave about if your husband told you to change your clothes, would you change? And I was like, you actually should. Because what we have to understand is, and there were some men that were like, oh, I want my woman to look sexy. That man does not love you if he wants you to go out exposed so that he can look good to other people. I'm going to say the thing that nobody wants to say. No God-fearing man who honors and respects his wife needs his wife to be going out half naked so that he can get approval from other people. What I'm not saying is if you walk out with your wife and people compliment you because your wife is beautiful and she puts herself together well, that's problematic, because it's not. And some of the women some of the wives, you're going to look beautiful no matter what you put on. You're going to be attractive no matter what you put on. No matter how much you try to hide your body is going to show in some regard. But what I'm saying is, as a woman, if you go out with everything on display and your husband is like, yeah, I don't know if that man loves you, but you can take that up with God in prayer. But my point is, are we to a point where we are only looking at marriage as a means to save ourselves from looking like nobody wants us, looking like we didn't get chosen? Because it's so much more than just a wedding. It's so much more than just a ceremony. It's so much more than just being like, oh, I got a man, somebody loves me. And unfortunately, what I notice is, when we have these conversations and women, not just single women, but married women, are combative against some of the things that I say, I question whether or not you trust your husband. I question whether or not you truly do love him. And I question what your actual intentions are in your marriage. If you feel that you don't have to be submitted, if you feel that there's not some element of compromise that comes with marriage, if you feel like to some degree your husband cannot direct and guide you, he can't tell you nothing. Girl,